So I turned it on, and I have a Roku TV. Well, it's equipped with Roku, right? So they offer movies, for free throughout the week and stuff like that. So I was flipping through it yesterday, and Deuce Bigelow, Mel Gigolo was on, right? And
Robbie Schneider, classic Rob.
It's a cheesy movie, but it took me back to like high school, and it had me cracking up, right? Something different. And I was just reminiscing, like, man, there's a lot of movies, that I was flipping through. Like, man, I remember this one. It gave me a good laugh. Yeah. And it goes, not so much because the movie's great, but it takes me back to a time that I remember watching it with certain individuals and like, it took me back to that place with family.
Yeah, it has that nostalgic feeling, when you were younger.
It's more the, the feeling around who you were with, what you were doing, than necessarily the movie itself.
Almost like a time machine kind of thing where it transports you back to that moment when you watched it.
There's been a lot of shit movies that I've watched, but I was with people and they made it funny. Yeah. We're probably drinking, buzz, and it made the movie even funnier.
We were 14 when the movie came out.
But, it just, that atmosphere is what really, like, I reminisce on, and it leads to good times. So that's what I've been, catching myself doing.
No, it's awesome, man. That the power movies really have, honestly, and the power of the mind, really. I was talking to Jonathan about this on the topic of movies, whatever, classic comedy movies that may or may not be terrible, corny movies. You remember The New Guy?
Yeah.
That is in my top 5, and I'll, hold it to this day.
Comedies
stick
or just
by my
movie
guns.
Of all time?
Top 5 comedies, all right? Like top 5, like if I want to laugh.
Like no, all time.
No, all time. Top 5. It's Godfather,
Braveheart,
and then The New Guy.
And then somewhere in between there.
No, top 5 comedies for sure. And I was saying, the power it has, because I was talking to Jonathan about it. And I try to be unbiased when, making these decisions and judgments about all-time movies and stuff. But for me, if I want to laugh and I want to feel good and have that like nostalgic feeling that you were trying to talk about, it never fails. I always go back to it. I don't overuse it. I don't watch it every day. But just every once in a while when you just want to go reminisce a little, you play these movies back. But up until about a year ago, I was saying this is like, top 5 all comedy. I thought like everybody thought this about this movie. It was just like an indie film that just didn't have wide gain popularity anyway. So I recommended it to a couple of friends of mine. I'm like, hey, watch this movie. It's hilarious. And I thought I was waiting for the reaction because I was like, oh, they're gonna think it's hilarious. And like, oh, great recommendation. They wrote me back and they were. That was the worst and most corniest, cheesiest movie I've ever seen in my life. And I'm like, what? Mind blown, man.
I would say we have, like, because those movies are funny. We think they're funny, right?
Yeah.
But we definitely, I would say we have a certain kind of sense of humor, right? That's different from everybody else. That's why we find them funny.
Yeah.
And I know, like you were saying, they were funny, like, we thought they were funny, but part of the movie experience is why, because it's one thing when you're sitting by yourself and watching The New Guy or whatever.
But that's when I'll laugh on my own just watching.
Yeah, we'll laugh, but it's that much funnier when, let's say, us three are watching or with a big group of people and a funny scene comes on and everybody's laughing. It sticks in your mind that, hey, man, this is a good movie, and that's what you remember, right? Those good times.
And I think that's what we're trying to make that connection right now. That the reason why I like this movie so much, because I remember the first time I saw that movie. I remember watching it with you guys, with Dad, with our cousins, uncles, and all that, because, Dad had. I want to say Dad's responsible for putting Circuit City, R.I.P. Circuit City.
He single-handedly put them, make them go.
I mean, I want to say
at
Dad's Hay Game. And in our heyday back in the day when DVDs were still popular before they were a dying business.
But why would you say you put them out of business? In what way?
He used to find loopholes in like the sales pages.
So when the DVDs first started coming out, it was a new thing. Right now, DVDs are so damn old. Like,
they're dying.
They're probably like $1 a damn movie, right?
Yeah.
But back in the day, when you transitioned from VHS to DVD, that was the newest shit, right? That was like your MP3s or buying music off of Apple or whatever, that was the thing, Now you have iTunes and all these, Pandora and all that stuff, so no one really purchases CDs or albums anymore.
Netflix and all that. Yeah.
But back then it was VHS, then they transitioned into DVDs, so Dad was always real big into electronics, and he was like, so he went and bought the first DVD player. And then he upgraded right away because they came out with this one that held like 200 or 300 DVDs at once. It was a shitload. And it would kind of rotate. And he had all that. Like the newest things that would come out, he would go get them. Yeah. So I think now it might still be the same when new releases like music and stuff. I think it's still on Tuesdays. Why Tuesdays, I don't know. But I know for sure back then
Taco Tuesday.
they would release, they would release all the new movies DVDs on Tuesdays.
Yeah.
So his biggest thing, the big, before Best Buy became so big, Circuit City was the thing. At least here in Houston, I don't know where else.
It was
nationwide.
nationwide.
Big,
it was
right?
a nationwide
So
chain.
they had that one right there by the Galleria where Dad would always go on his way from work. He would stop at that one.
Yeah.
So the DVDs were typically like $12, $11.99, $12.99 on Tuesdays. They were on sale because there were new releases. But they would have this like promotion where I don't know if it was like
buy two get one free,
and
or
they
something.
ended up
I think it was
costing
like price matching.
$7.99 or something. He found them. I don't know how it all worked, but he ended up getting them like half price. And what he would do is every Tuesday he would for sure buy the new releases, but then he would buy a lot of the older movies that were coming out, and he would buy 10, 20 at a time.
Yeah.
So
but
for the
through
first
price
few times, they were like,
matching
"That's
and,
cool,"
loopholes.
And then on the new DVDs inside, I remember they had a coupon like buy this next DVD coming out, and you get 1 or 2 free. So he would keep those and take those in, and on top of paying half price, he was getting other ones for free. And I know he tells us all the time that after like a couple months of doing that, the manager like from Circuit City was like, "Hey man, like we can't continue doing this. We're taking a big loss on DVDs because of you. You're buying like 30 a week." You know,
exactly.
Honestly, like I think when it was all said and done, we had a garage sale years back.
We've had a few, and
you know,
every time we would sell
DVDs,
DVDs, that's
probably
how
a
many.
couple hundred of them.
Yeah.
And we still got probably a few hundred of them.
Even to
at the
this day,
house,
we have like 300-400 DVDs.
I think when if you totaled them all through the years when he had all of them, it was probably over 1,000 movies.
Yeah, I remember going like
for
to
sure.
other people's houses, and I would ask, "Hey, where are your DVDs at?" And they only had like 10.
Yeah.
So you got to be kidding me.
And those 10 were fucking the 10 that were missing from our house.
Yeah, that they had borrowed 2 weeks
but
before, and all
because
that.
it was stacks and stacks of movies, and that's why we grew up watching so many movies and all that. That's why we
and
so
Dad
many.
was definitely a technology buff, so he always liked the new innovative things that were coming out. But even more than that, I think that's probably where we get that good feeling from the movies, because he probably knew back then as well that movies, and as corny as it may sound, have the ability to create those feelings. It creates that atmosphere and situation where you guys are all just there watching it together as a family, watching it with good people you care about.
Yeah.
And these movies put you in sync, and that's what you remember. That's why we like looking at these old movies again, because you go back and you remember the good times you had, the good laughs, the people you were with.
And sometimes
and
it wasn't even about like watching the movies, because sometimes we're younger, right? You guys are, significantly younger than me. So if I wasn't able to watch the movie, I would like barely learn how to wipe
You'd have
their
to do
ass
one of
and
those,
stuff,
right, where you're peeking through for the
Yeah.
rated R
Over your
movies.
face.
Cover your eyes, cover your eyes.
And
Perverts.
I remember a lot of our uncles, shout out Uncle Carlos, Eddie, were going over, pretty often to watch movies and stuff. And that was like the Tinseltown back in the day, like, why am I going to go pay money when
We were
I
the
go to Ruben's
Blockbuster, man.
house,
We were the black
We were the
market
Netflix before
Blockbuster.
Netflix became
exactly,
popular,
man.
right?
Before Redbox and all
Yeah.
that was us.
Like,
We did
it's
that.
Tuesday, just wait a couple weekends, and then Ruben will give us the movie. Like, he'll have
exactly.
it, so... And but now I remember that they would come over, and I remember, we grew up in a small house, which I think that's why we're so close now, looking back at it. And that's a different
little
topic,
too
but,
close.
yeah. But we grew up in a small house. Our living room was small, but yet you walked in that motherfucker, and it had the first like big screen TV,
like IMAX,
badass surround sound, badass DVD player.
Big-ass Sony
he
TV
even
with
had
the big
that
box.
Logitech remote where it controlled all the
those universal
shit on,
remotes. We had the first
touch
universal
screen.
remote. I mean,
So
one
he had
at
it was
least.
top notch, right? And people
Yeah.
knew that, like, it would sound badass, and then because it was small, like the surround sound sounded even better, right? So people would go, and man, they would get that like experience that damn, watching movies here is badass, right?
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
So that it kind of, when I think of these movies, like Night at the Roxbury is one of them.
Yeah,
That takes me back to those days where and it was just hilarious, right? And just hearing some of our uncles their laugh. Everybody has like kind of a distinguished laugh, right? Like it's and it makes movies
as soon as you
funny.
hear it, you know who it is.
As soon as you hear it, you know who it is. And then when you're watching a movie, just hearing them laugh, even
especially when it's like real laughter, like when
Yeah.
you're actually cracking up, like that's one of the best like atmospheres, like to be in a room with people and you're just like cracking up, all in sync, laughing at something. When you guys watch movies, 'cause I do it all the time. Do you guys do like those double takes when a funny scene comes on, or a little something just small. You want to see how other people are reacting to it. I do that all the time.
I catch myself.
That's my
like
favorite
if,
part
like
of movies.
if I've watched the movie, right? Like
Yeah,
let's say
especially when you
comedy,
watched
like
it,
Dumb and
yeah.
Dumber is my favorite movie of all time as far as comedies go.
It's Dumb and Dumber, Godfather,
Yeah.
Braveheart,
Yeah, Titanic.
Titanic.
But no,
And then
it's
the
one
new
of my
Animals.
favorites. So I've watched it probably fucking 200 times.
No.
So when I hear somebody hasn't watched it, like when you get to the really funny scenes that make
Yeah.
me crack up every time I watch it,
Yeah.
I'm like, instead of watching the movie, I'm looking at them.
Yeah,
like,
right.
And in my mind, I'm like, you better fucking
You
laugh
better
right
laugh.
now. You better fucking
See,
laugh.
but when I do it, it's not so much like this is like it's not gonna hurt my pride. Well, it would if they didn't laugh. I'm to have to reevaluate my life a
No,
little bit. Like,
you want-
damn, am I not funny? Is like, or did I not have that great of a sense of humor
Well, it's like
that
me
I
with
thought?
one of my favorite movies of all time, not just just overall movies, The Godfather,
yeah,
right?
Uh-huh.
And part 1 and 2.
I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse.
So when somebody says,
That was
"Oh,
my
I hated
Marlon
that
Brando
movie," I
impersonation.
fucking want to kill him,
The Godfather.
Yeah, when someone says that,
Damn, you sure The
it's a
Godfather
shit
wasn't
movie.
made about you? That was a little
Yeah.
violent.
I
Man.
feel like it
Damn.
is. I tell everybody it was based off my
Yeah.
life.
Michael Corleone,
Yeah.
Michael Guzman.
Well, they
Yeah,
couldn't
there
use
it
my
is.
last name,
Yeah, they
you
couldn't
know.
use your last name for
there were three brothers in that
copyright
movie,
issues.
right? Who would be who, in like as far as us?
You're Sonny because you're the oldest.
Nah, I'm Michael, dude.
Michael
'Cause
Corleone?
I'm the
There's no
coolest,
way, bro.
right?
I'd be Marlon Brando, probably the actual Godfather, with my cat, my naked cat,
You'd be
Fredo. Nah, I'd be
Who's
Mike
that
Corleone.
fat guy in that movie? The one that Barzini? No, it's not
Nah,
Barzini, right?
Barzini's the
The one who
other
kills
guy.
him and says that famous line, "Keep the cannolis." Who's that guy?
The fat dude.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's what's his name?
In the movie, I don't know his
Yeah.
acting name. In the movie, it was
the movie.
He's the one that's teaching Michael Corleone how
how
to
to
shoot
use the gun. Yeah,
Right. I forgot his name.
Clemenza.
Clemenza.
Yeah,
So,
yeah.
And then when it's
Clemenza?
part 3,
Yeah,
right?
Clemenza.
Part 3 when they go back to, or it's part 2.
When they go back
they're-
to Italy?
When they go back to Italy.
Yeah. Well,
And,
it's like two movies. Part
But
two
it's
is like
showing
two,
like Marlon Brando, the
played by
Godfather,
Robert De
you know?
Niro, how he
Yeah,
came up, how he
became
became the
Godfather.
Godfather.
And Clemenza, they became like best friends like at an early age, right?
Yeah.
So yeah, it was
Clemenza and then
that
Tessio. Tessio's the one who betrayed him at the end, who they
Yeah,
kill.
they will-
He's like, tell Mike it wasn't personal, it was just business, whatever. He tries
That's-
weaseling out of it. It's a dirty business,
for old
man.
time's sake.
Yeah, for old time's sake. Can you
Can't
get me
do
out
it,
of this
Mike.
time?
He's
And
like,
Tom's
"Can't
like,
do
nope, can't do it. I'd probably be Tom Hagen now that I think about it. The lawyer.
Nah.
no, but going back to
You'd be
you were
Kate.
we were
Michael's wife. Mm-hmm.
not even.
Yes, I would. Not even.
You'll be Fredo. No, I'm just kidding. Going back to the whole movie thing, like you were saying, you kind of remember that whole movie experience. But you also have to look at the movie itself, like The Godfather. You brought up The Godfather. I think
Yeah.
why we like these movies so much is, they're comedies and we like watching them. But all of these comedies and all that had a theme to them, like even like Night at the Roxbury, right?
Well,
It's
Godfather
a
was
comedy.
the exact opposite of a comedy. But
No, I'm just saying
Yeah.
themes and
Yeah.
movies and all
Yeah.
that. Like Night at the
Genres.
Roxbury, we agree is like hilarious, right? And
Yeah.
people outside are like, "Oh, it's a comedy; they don't take it seriously." But even that had a theme to it,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
It's two brothers' family too.
That,
that,
I think that's the
you know,
best
think,
movies
you know,
revolve around that family
the
theme.
New guy,
like you're talking
the new guy,
about.
right? It's kind of like he
Loyalty
wants
to
be
his
some-
friends, whatever.
staying
you
true
know?
to yourself and knowing
Yeah,
where you come
exactly.
from. The
Yeah.
Godfather,
Well-
family, and legacies and all that.
Well, I mean, the good movies. I don't care what it's about, you know.
No, but I was going to say that in today's society, like you really don't see that anymore. You see movies and all that. You're still trying to figure out, well, what's the theme of it?
Yeah.
As far as like, because like you were
Yeah.
saying, you were on Roku and all that. All these platforms, Netflix, Roku, yeah, they're putting the movie business and TV shows, probably their sales have never been higher. But as far as that movie experience, it's
Yeah.
so easy. I'm in my room by myself. I'm gonna go up, look a movie by myself, and watch it. Before back then, you'd have to go to Blockbuster as a family, rent that movie, come back.
Yeah.
All the family would come over, and you
No,
would watch
you-
it together as an experience.
Bring up a good point because
So
you
I think-
definitely.
I think, like Netflix and all that are kind of destroying that experiences that we had. growing
It's
up
a different
as kids.
experience, honestly. You're definitely losing something now that technology just keeps on innovating. I mean,
Yeah, before-
people would probably said that about VHS and all
Yeah.
that. DVDs are coming out. You're losing that so fast now.
But I think what you have now, to your point, was a really good point, and I think you're saying like you're missing out, right, on the experiences from
experience.
past time,
Yeah.
because now you got Netflix, right,
Mm-hmm.
or you can just order the movie on I got
On demand,
Xfinity,
whatever,
you get it
yeah.
on demand, pay $4,
in your bed.
yeah, whatever,
On your phone.
and most people are just gonna watch it at home when they get time.
Yeah.
Back then, it was a thing
Hosted
on
more-
Fridays.
yeah.
Like, hey, let's go to Blockbuster. Let's
Yeah.
go to Hollywood
Well, so
Video.
you made a
Rent
family
a movie.
thing
It's
about
a family
it. You
thing.
got in the car.
we're
You
not-
drove.
It's now we're older. It's three of us, Mandy, mom, and dad. So we're not all gonna say, we're all gonna go rent the same movie and watch it at home.
No, but even then, like if we still had a Blockbuster today, like on a Friday night, we're all just chilling. We are right now. Hey, let's go watch a movie.
That's what we're saying.
Hey, let's go to Blockbuster all together, and
Yeah.
because like you were saying, like
not even like we're
Netflix.
just here. Let's go. Like, what I'm saying is like, hey, Friday, hey, come over. I'm gonna go rent some movies.
Yeah.
Right. Let's come over. And what I'm saying is like,
Now you're getting a little
Now-
lazy. Yeah. Right.
now it's like, y'all watch. I'm sure y'all watched it already. I'm gonna go ahead and watch it because it's
Yeah.
here already.
Or hey, did
know?
y'all see that new movie? Yeah, I watched it Tuesday night after I got out of work. I was showering, just wanted to relax, so it was on because it's so everything's right there in front of you now, right? And I think that's what Jonathan said. You
It's
lose
so
that
easily
experience, whatever
accessible.
before it wasn't as accessible, so you had to you made an event out of it, right? You
Yeah.
got in the car, you drove.
You're
You said
anxious,
jokes
you're
in the car
setting
on the way. You got
standards and
into
all
the
that.
bill. It's just
And I
everything
think-
was so tangible, and it's not just movies,
Yeah.
music.